Hello everyone, I'm Dennis Bacani, and in this video we're going to solve this radical equation here in two ways. Let's get started. One way to solve this problem here is to square both sides of this equation. You may also move this radical expression here to the right hand side of this equation before squaring, but I think you'll get almost the same expression. Now, expanding both sides of this equation here, we'll get the square of this one, which is equal to x squared minus 10x plus 25, and then plus 2 times this one. But I'm writing this x squared minus 10x plus 25 as the square of x minus 5. And multiplying these two, we can combine them into a single radical. So it will be square root of this times this one. So that is a product rule for radicals. And why is the product of the square roots equal to the square root of the product? Because we know that this is not less than 0, and also this is not less than 0. So we can use product rule for radicals. And then plus the square of this, we'll get 3x squared minus 14x minus 24. And the square of 5 minus x is equal to 25 minus 10x plus x squared. And as we can see, these three terms here and these three terms here cancel out. And these remaining terms here can be factored to square root of 3x squared minus 14x minus 24 times this expression here. And how do we get this factorization? So treat this one as a square root of 3x squared minus 14x and then minus 24 quantity squared. And because we're looking for real solutions, then we may assume that this radicand here is greater than or equal to 0. So the square root of this quantity squared is just equal to 3x squared minus 14x minus 24. And if we factor this out from this term, we'll get 2 square root of x minus 5 quantity squared, but we can write that down as 2 times the absolute value of x minus 5, and then plus square root of 3x squared minus 14x minus 24. Now, this first factor here is equal to 0 if the radicand is equal to 0. And this trinomial here can be factored to 3x plus 4 times x minus 6. Therefore, we get the values of x, which are negative 4 over 3 and positive 6. Now, what are the x values that will make this expression equal to 0? The answer is no such value exists because this expression is never 0. Why? Because for this to be 0, x minus 5 must be equal to 0. So that means x must be equal to 5. But keep in mind that x equals 5 won't make this radicand equal to 0 because the only x values that will make it 0 are negative 4/3 and positive 6. Now, because of this squaring here, we have to check our answer. That is, we need to make sure that these x values here satisfy the original equation. Now, do you think x equals 6 is a solution to our original equation? The answer is no. Why? Because when x is equal to 6, this is equal to negative 1. But the left-hand side is actually always greater than or equal to 0. So therefore, x equals 6 is an extraneous root. It is a false solution. Now, how about x equals negative 4/3? So when you plug in x equals negative 4/3, you'll get here a positive number, and try to plug in negative 4/3 for x for each of this expression, and you'll see that the sum of their square roots is indeed equal to the right-hand side of the equation. So therefore, in this case, x equals negative 4/3 is a solution, and it's the only solution to our equation. Now, let me show you another way to solve this equation. If you look at the left-hand side of our equation, we know that the values of these square roots are both non-negative. So they are both greater than or equal to 0. Therefore, for this equation to hold, the value of this right-hand side here must also be greater than or equal to 0. Therefore, 5 minus x must be greater than or equal to 0, or that is, x must be less than or equal to 5. And because the first radical can be written as the square root of the square of x minus 5, and this square root of x minus 5 squared is equal to absolute value of x minus 5, and because x is less than or equal to 5, this x minus 5 here is less than or equal to 0. So the absolute value of x minus 5 is the negative of itself. Therefore, we can cancel this 5 minus x and 5 minus x here, and we'll get the equation square root of this expression equal to 0. And this implies that the radicand must be equal to 0, and factoring out the left-hand side, again, this will give us the two x values, negative 4/3 and 6. And we know from our first method that x equals 6 is an extraneous solution, and x equals negative 4/3 is the only solution to our equation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help me grow this channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.